think it's pretty clear that in the world of personal development and self-improvement, one of the biggest and most common goals that people have is to change their life. Whether we're talking about making more money or making new friends, finding your purpose or finding your soulmate, whatever the goal is, it includes change. You can call it reinventing ourselves, rebranding ourselves, main character energy, becoming that girl, or glowing up. But at the core of all of those things, it's about having a desire for change, about wanting something different for yourself and your life. The assumption, of course, is that these changes are going to make our life better. That is the long-term goal, obviously, otherwise what's the point? The reality is that the benefits of these life changes often don't show up right away. Just like going to the gym, you're not going to see many benefits from just going once or twice, but you are probably going to be pretty sore for a few days afterwards and in a little bit of pain because that behavior is so far from what you're used to and your norm. So yes, change is hard because of the new actions you're taking, the new behaviors that you're doing, but there's also another reason that I think change can be so hard, and it's one that I feel like we don't really talk about often enough or acknowledge, and I also think it's the reason why a lot of people struggle to see some of those bigger, more meaningful life changes happen for them, even when they really want it. I saw this reel on Instagram a little while ago that I think explains it and just visually depicts what this is so well. So as we can see, as this person is moving forward towards the door that they want to walk through, because they are tethered and attached to what's behind them, that is actually pulling the door closed for them. And so you can see that if this person was to detach, then the door would remain open for them and they would be able to walk through it. Basically what I'm talking about here is letting go of our current reality so that we can step into our new one. This is why we struggle with creating change. A lot of people are not prepared and not willing to accept what change in their life is actually going to mean. A lot of people don't want to let go of their old or their current life in order to have their new one. But unfortunately, that's a really necessary part of the process. There are parts of you and parts of your life that are not in alignment, that are not cohesive with that new version of your life that you are trying to bring forth. And that new version cannot permanently come into existence until the old one disintegrates. That's why we so often find ourselves stuck in these loops and these patterns, even when it feels like we're taking all of the external actions necessary to create the change, because we have not yet accepted that there are things that we might actually lose along that journey. Here's the thing, if we want to change, we need to be willing to exchange, to swap one reality for another. And we don't always get to choose what comes with us and what doesn't, whether that's certain people, certain relationships, certain jobs, certain lifestyles. And often it's actually so much deeper than that too. We need to let go of identities that we might have been carrying for our entire lives. We might need to let go of defense mechanisms that we feel keep us safe in some way. The things that we use to keep certain parts of ourselves hidden, even from ourselves. We might need to let go of a belief that we have about the world, about who we are, or about other people. We might need to let go of our ego. So the question is, why are we not doing those things? And it's because it's scary. Of course this is scary because when we let go, there is no guarantee. We have to take these steps with faith and trust that we can get to the other side and that when we do get there, it's going to be worth it. And now I'm of the belief that if you are moving in this direction with a deep sense of self-awareness, if you are coming at it from a place of deep self-love and respect, and if you are authentically aligned with this change, it will always be worth it. There's actually a quote from this book, When Things Fall Apart by Pema Chodron. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. A friend recommended this book to me and I have been loving it. Obviously, I've got a bunch of little stickies in here with quotes. And one of the quotes that I love from this book is when she writes, "Rather than realizing that it takes death for there to be birth, we just fight against the fear of death." Oh, and I just think that's like so good and so true. And honestly, I think that makes for a really interesting journal prompt to ask yourself, what parts of me might need to die so that I can be birthed into the life that I want for myself? And I feel like the bigger our dreams and goals are, the more important this gets, but no one's saying you have to start with the biggest, scariest thing. When I shared about my separation with friends, family, people close to me, something I heard from quite a few people was how brave they thought I was being. And honestly, I wasn't. Bravery by definition is the absence of fear. And trust me when I say there was a whole lot of fear, and there still is. It wasn't bravery that I had, but courage. It was acting in the face of fear, staying committed to what I know is right for me despite the fear. And that's what no one really tells you about changing your life. Like, yes, change is the beautiful emerging from your cocoon like this glorious butterfly moment, but we often forget and don't talk about all of the dissolving and how this caterpillar has to literally become mush and rebuild itself before that happens. Any big, real, significant change in your life, even if it's for the better, is going to stir up some fear. And you are going to need to tap into your courage if you want those things to truly manifest. Something like ending a marriage is obviously really big, but that wasn't my first time flexing that courage muscle. In the years prior, I've had the courage to leave jobs that weren't right for me, say no to opportunities that weren't aligned with my path, even though they were great opportunities. I stood strong in the vision I had for my life and what it did and did not include, even in the face of external pressure, even in the face of unsolicited opinions and advice, even when it disappointed people that were close to me, and even when it meant making financial trade-offs that were not in favor of my wallet. Through separation, I had to let go of my identity of being a wife, a partner, a homeowner, a dog mom, a resident of a certain city. But again, this was not my first time letting go of identities. So I share this to say, just like any other skill, courage is one that you could start small with. Start with the low-hanging fruit, start with practicing, do the little changes over time, and you will find that slowly but surely you have built up the courage to make the big changes too. So what does it take to change your life? It's a big question with a lot of different answers, but one thing that I think is absolutely essential is this blend of faith and courage. As you take courageous action, your faith grows. As your faith grows, you will be able to take more and more courageous action. It's a snowball effect. It's a self-reinforcing cycle. You just have to get it kickstarted and remain dedicated enough to your own growth, to your own potential to keep it going. Anyways, I wanted to end off with a quote from Brianna Wiest that I feel is such a great way of kind of summarizing this idea. So she writes, "Your new life is going to cost you your old one. It's going to cost you your comfort zone and your sense of direction. It's going to cost you relationships and friends. It's going to cost you being liked and understood. It doesn't matter. The people who are meant for you are going to meet you on the other side. You're going to build a new comfort zone around the things that actually move you forward. Instead of being liked, you're going to be loved. Instead of being understood, you're going to be seen. All you're going to lose is what was built for a person you no longer are." Oh, so good. So I would love to hear from you. What did you take away from this video? What are your thoughts on change and why it can be so difficult? Comment your thoughts below and let's keep this conversation going. That's all for today. Thank you so much for watching as usual, and I will see you again next time. Bye.